Hands are definitely one of the challenging things to draw, especially if you need the fingers to be bent into a fist. So today I'll be sharing with you a simple way to draw fists so you wouldn't have to avoid drawing them in your characters. In today's video, we're going to discuss how our fingers bend, and we are going to apply that into creating fists at any angle. First, let's discuss how our fingers bend. If we look at our hands, you will notice that the fingers have 3 segments. This is actually a bit deceiving because even though our fingers seem to bend in 3 segments, you actually can't bend the joint at the tip on its own. Try it out yourself. The only time the joint at the tips bend is when we bend this middle joint, and it doesn't bend totally. It only makes a slight angle like this. When drawing the fingers, we can actually cheat this a bit and draw the fingers in 2 segments rather than 3. It's hardly noticeable when you do that, especially if it's just a small part of the drawing. Another thing I noticed is that our fingers don't bend in this part, rather in this part. In the previous video where I discussed the basics of drawing hands, I talk about this line of the palms. This is not just for fortune telling or something. Our fingers actually bend over this line. This is another misconception that I realized recently, because when we draw the hands, we tend to try to bend the fingers here rather than here, which is why it sometimes looks awkward. With that in mind, let's draw a fist. First, let's draw it palms up. We're going to draw a trapezoid shape for the palms. However, we're gonna draw it slightly smaller than we do when the hands are open. When we bend our hand into a fist, the palms tend to get squashed a bit because, as just we discussed, the fingers bend around this line and it results in it getting squashed a bit. So we're still gonna draw the horizontal guideline like so, and what we're gonna do next is divide this part into 4 sections of each finger. Since we're drawing the fist palms up, there's gonna be some foreshortening involved, so when we draw the fingers, the first segment will tend to get hidden. After that, let's draw an angled line just above the trapezoid. This is a guideline where the joint of the segment will be. The peak of this line should be at the middle finger because it's the longest line. When we curl our hands into a fist, the first segment is angled slightly upward rather than straight horizontal line. Now let's draw the foreshortened finger. Imagine it as a cylinder, but it's cut diagonally by the front, like this. Then let's draw the second segment of the finger. Just below our guideline, we're gonna draw another angled line. This is where the tip of the finger will be. The point of this line will be on the ring finger. You can just draw sausage shapes like this. You can draw the bend as well, but let's keep it simple. Now let's proceed to the thumb. The thumb has more movement, and you can actually bend the tip on its own. In the previous video, we drew this semicircle along with the thumbs. Think of this as the extension of the thumb finger because it moves around as well when you move the thumbs. To draw the thumb around the fist, let's draw the D shape, and at the corner, let's draw a small circle like this. This will be where the knuckles are. Then we're gonna draw the thumb into 2 segments at a 90-degree angle. Position the thumb by the middle of the index and middle finger. For the thumb, you can push it a bit further where the tip of the thumb is by the ring finger rather than the middle finger. When you do that, you're gonna have to push the D shape a bit so the curve is less sharp. Let's add in the details. I'm gonna add a bit of an angled line here because this is the part where the palms folded and it got squashed a bit as a result. Here we go. We've finished drawing the fist palms up. Let's move on to the fist palms down. This is the easiest to draw because the fingers aren't showing much. Draw a trapezoid shape for the palms. Then we're gonna draw our guide here. Let's draw an angled line here. Just above our horizontal guideline, we're gonna draw a diamond shape like this. This is a different shape compared to what we did in the previous video because here, the knuckles are bent. After that, we're gonna draw a wavy line like this, following the contours of the knuckles. If we look at our fist in this angle, you will notice that the index finger and the middle finger are peeking out a bit, but the ring finger and pinky aren't. That is because when we curl our hands, the fingers tend to fan out like this. Anyway, let's draw the index and middle finger. Note that the index finger is peeking more than the middle finger. Moving on to the thumbs, we're gonna draw our D shape just like how we draw it when we draw our hands palms up earlier. Then draw a small circle at the tip of the knuckles. Since the thumb is hidden, we don't really need to show it, so we're just gonna draw a diagonal shape like this. Let's add in the details. The bones in the hand don't show that much compared to when the hands are open, so keep that in mind. Alrighty, we are done. Moving on to the side view, which is a bit trickier. So we're gonna start off with a trapezoid shape like this and then draw the guideline here. In this angle, only the index finger is shown. Let's draw the first segment of the finger. We're going to include this part of the palm when drawing this. So from this guideline up to the corner of the trapezoid, draw another trapezoid like this. The part here should be wider. Let's draw the second segment of the hand. As we mentioned earlier, the second segment of the fingers bends slightly when we bend the middle joint, so it will form a triangle like like this. Let's move on to the thumbs. Draw a diagonal line from this point of the base, and then we're gonna draw a D shape. Because we bend our thumb fingers and due to foreshortening, we can pretty much get away by drawing the first segment of the thumb. Let's add the details. And the drawing is finished. Let's move on to the opposite side. As always, we're gonna start off with the trapezoid shape. Let's draw our guideline right here. This is where we'll be putting our pinky. Let's draw that. Draw a small trapezoid for the first segment like this, and then the second segment is bent like so. For the ring and middle finger, we're going to draw two lines that are fanning out. Then we're just gonna corner the fingers out like so. After that, we're gonna draw a D shape over here, and then draw a small circle for the knuckles. And then we're gonna draw the fingers in two segments like this. With the basic shape done, we can add in the details. And here's the finished drawing. We have one more angle to cover, and it's the front view of the fist. Since there's foreshortening involved, we're gonna approach this differently. First, draw an angled line like this. The peak of this line is where the middle finger is going to be. This will be the guideline for the knuckles. Next, we're gonna draw a diagonal line. This part where the pinky should be shorter. Then we're gonna draw 4 lines for the fingers. Don't draw them parallel to each other. Draw them at a slight angle, like so. After that, we're gonna draw some angled lines and an oval shape for the thumb. Let's add some details. And here's the finished drawing. Now that you learned how to draw the face, we're going to discuss how to draw other hand gestures in a future video. In the meantime, why don't you check out this drawing tutorial?